Good morning. My name is Owema Tendesi. I'm Algonquin from Kitigan Zibi. There you go. And I just want to say miigwech for having me. And I'm going to open us up today with an opening song to kind of get this event going in a good way. So, miigwech. Hey, oh, hey, oh, how, hey, 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 oh, hey, oh, how, hey, 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 oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, yeah, hey, oh, how, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, how, yo, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, how, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Keshme me sa kagige onda je kage che ki mo che gitayan ho hey oh hey oh ha yo hey 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 oh hey oh hey oh ha oh hey hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey oh oh hey hey way oh hey oh oh hey 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 oh hey 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 oh hey hey oh how hey hey oh hey oh hey oh how yo hey hey oh hey oh hey oh how hey hey oh hey oh que me sa kagige onda je kage che ki mo che gitayan ho hey oh ha yo hey hey oh hey oh how oh hey oh hey oh hey way oh hey oh how hey way oh hey oh how hey hey oh hey oh hey yeah hey oh how oh hey oh how yo hey oh hey oh how hey oh que me sa kagige onda je kage che ki mo che gitayan ho hey oh ha yo hey oh hey oh how hey oh hey oh how hey way oh hey oh hey hey oh how oh hey oh how yo hey oh hey hey oh que me sa kagige onda je kage che ki mo che gitayan ho hey oh ha yo hey oh hey how hey oh okay, miigwech.
Koe ka kina. Kichimiigwech Awema Tendesi. Thank you so much for that beautiful opening. Good morning, Kwekakina. My name is Krista Pearson, and I am the Vice President of Student Services here at Algonquin College. Algonquin College campuses in Ottawa, Perth, and Pembroke are located on the unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people. The Algonquin people have inhabited and cared for these lands since time immemorial. We take this time to express our gratitude and respect to them and to the land for all that it has provided and will continue to provide. As a post-secondary institution, we acknowledge the harms done to the Indigenous peoples and are committed to learning from the past. We pledge to promote healing and resilience as we move forward in partnership with the Algonquin Nations, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people in a spirit of reconciliation. While we recognize that territorial acknowledgements are only one step in cultivating greater respect for and inclusion of Indigenous peoples, we commit to accompanying these words with actions. We are dedicated to building a future, that's partly you, and community that is better for everyone, for all. We pledge to continue exploring and making meaningful contributions to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada's call to actions. The land acknowledgement precedes every function held at Algonquin College, and it was recently updated working alongside Indigenous Education's Council the Kitigan-Zibi, Anishinaabeg, and Pikwanigan communities. The goal of updating the land acknowledgement was to ensure we remember the past and also promote awareness, education, and healing to move forward together with respect and mutual learning. It also places the focus on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to actions, which I have here, and I keep on my desk because it's easy to forget these things when you're really busy, but we have an obligation not to forget them. The land acknowledgement, we are grateful for the wisdom and guidance of the Kitigan-Zibi, Anishinaabeg, and the Pikwanigan communities for their many contributions to Algonquin College. This updated land acknowledgement serves as a regular reminder of the obligations we have under the Commission's call to actions and that the work together toward reconciliation is an ongoing commitment, not only for conversation today, importantly, but for daily mindfulness, allyship, and action. Thank you, Kichimiigwech. Now I'd like to welcome Algonquin College's President and CEO, Claude Brûlé. Thank you.
I'm going to try to balance this over here if I can, just because I have pages, not a phone to use, so I can't use my thumb to flip the pages. Koe kakena, Claude Brûlé, Nindigenakas, Ottawa, Nindonjiba, Pijashi kakena. Welcome everyone, my name is Claude Brûlé from Ottawa. It's a pleasure to welcome you this morning. So distinguished guests and colleagues, it's an honor to be here today as we gather to acknowledge the painful legacy of residential schools and their lasting impact. Thank you for wearing orange today in recognition of Orange Shirt Day, a powerful reminder that every child matters. This is a small but important gesture in our journey of reconciliation. Before we begin, I'd like to offer a warm welcome to a few guests. Ottawa Mayor, Mark Sutcliffe, City Ward Councillor, City Councillor Lane Johnson, welcome. Elder Jenny Buckshot-Tonasco from the Kitigan-Zibi Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, welcome. Jenny has been an advisor to me, along with Elder Jane Chartrand from the Algonquins of Pikwanigan First Nation. I'm grateful for your time with me Thank you. So welcome to all of you to our Algonquin campus. Today, as noted on the screen here, is National Day of Truth and Reconciliation across Canada. For Indigenous friends and colleagues, today is a time to come together with family, friends, and community. For others, it is a day to reflect and learn about the history and the realities of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. The most important thing that we can do today and every day is to listen. It's an important day to reflect, to learn, and to recommit ourselves to the calls to action outlined in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's 2015 report that Krista showcased a moment ago. As I said, we're dedicated to listening, to learning, and sharing Indigenous knowledge and culture with our learners and our community. Earlier this week, we hosted a Truth and Reconciliation art installation, part of the Canadian Library, in partnership with our Indigenous Initiatives Office. Thank you, Anita. I think the mic's cutting in and out a little bit here. This installation paid tribute to missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and 2SL LGBTQIA+ persons. The event was one of several across our campuses over the past week and today, associated with the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Over the summer, as part of the college's new flag policy, we permanently raised the flags from the Kitigan-Zibi Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation at our Ottawa and Perth campuses, and the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan flag at our Pembroke campus. This was another step in our journey, along with an event that we hosted earlier in April, which was street naming and pathway initiatives that you may recall, again, to demonstrate our commitment to the calls to action. As part of our ongoing commitment to reconciliation, the college's Board of Governors approved in June the creation of new programming, the Indigenous Studies Foundation's Inuit, Métis, and First Nation Ontario College Certificate, as well as a new Pathway Diploma program, again, to help ensure that the college continues to answer the calls to action. These new offerings are in addition to the wide range of resources that we have developed in conjunctions with partners, including our Indigenous knowledge and curriculum consultants working directly within learning and teaching services. Thank you, Carrie, for your work, and to Sheila Grantham as well. As we continue this work, we remain committed to being strong allies who recognize the deep history and relationship to the land on which we live and work, and the part we must all play in healing and reconciliation. So today, we honor the children who never returned home, the survivors of residential schools, and the families and communities who continue to carry the heavy burden of intergenerational trauma. Our commitment to listening, learning, and understanding the truth of this history is crucial to the reconciliation process. We must reflect on the magnitude of the loss, the trauma endured, and what this means for our shared past, present, and future. Only by confronting these truths can we hope to move forward together. Through our actions and with open heart, we aim to honor these children who were denied a future. At this time, I would like to invite Sarah Wright, Professor, Indigenous Education from the Academic Access Center, to share a special story with our very young friends here today. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Oh, wow, there's a lot of people here. Bonjour, Sarah Indigenous Cause, Mesqua Desi Indigo, Namain Indotem, Kuchaching Nindonji. My English name is Sarah, and my spirit name is Mesqua Desi. And in my Anishinaabe-Moin language, that is the painted turtle. I am from the Sturgeon clan, and from Couchiching First Nation. And if you are not familiar with where that is, it's way over in Treaty 3 territory, near Fort Frances, Ontario. So I just want to acknowledge too that I am a guest on the traditional lands of the Algonquin people, and I just arrived 4 months ago, so I'm still learning, about the people here and their history and how they have been impacted, by residential schools and how they are moving forward. So I'm just going to share a little bit about my own journey in education. Sorry. As a young person like this, I didn't grow up learning anything about who I was. The only time I heard about Indigenous peoples or Indigenous cultures was in my Ojibwe class. In grade school, I don't recall anything about learning about Indigenous peoples. I always knew that I was Indigenous, and I don't know how or why, because we never talked about what that meant. In high school, I didn't do so well in high school, but again, there was only one course I recall being about Indigenous peoples. So I went through most of my education journey not being represented, not being seen. I went to college in 2006, Confederation College in Thunder Bay, in the Child and Youth Worker program. And again, given our history in Canada, I don't recall a single moment of talking about Indigenous children's issues in those programs. I went on to work in an Indigenous organization, and it was there that I was surrounded by people who were, active in their culture and traditions. And as somebody who didn't grow up that way, it was hard because you feel shame about not knowing who you are. And I didn't want to cry. But I'm told that this means that I'm strong. So I worked in that program for 8 years, and during the end of that time, it was just when people were starting to talk about residential schools. And I realized that I didn't know anything about what those were. I'm a 4th generation survivor. My great-grandmother, Helen Plett, attended St. Margaret's residential school in Couchiching. And I didn't know until maybe 2017 that she attended those schools. I went back to university in 2016, where I did my honors bachelor in Indigenous learning. And I remember one of the first classes that I went to, Indigenous Learning 1100, which is an intro to Indigenous learning. My professor opened the class by asking us what reconciliation was, what that meant. At the time, I had no idea what reconciliation was. I had no idea about residential schools. I didn't really know what had happened. But it was through that program that I began to understand what had happened in Canada. And I began to understand how it impacted myself and my family. And it was through that process that I started to, be more proud of who I am as an Indigenous person. And it led me to ceremony, and it led me back to my culture. And it was in those places where I began to heal. I'm going to say I'm probably 14 years on my healing journey. and I have a long way to go. It's days like this that remind me that we've begun, but we still have a long way to go. I went on to do my Master's of Education at the University of Alberta, specializing in Indigenous peoples education. Another program, that was focused on Indigenous ways of knowing and being. And it's in those spaces where, us Indigenous people, we feel heard. We feel seen and supported. So I know this is a room full of employees, and I appreciate you all being here and, taking the time out of your day to, reflect on the history and maybe revisit those calls to action and think about how you can implement them, whether you're a prof or a teacher, because our students want to, be here. They want to get an education. They want to contribute to society. And when they're not reflected or not heard or not seen, it's really hard to be in these spaces. So, miigwech for being here and for taking the time out of your day. I wasn't going to cry. But I don't cry necessarily for sadness anymore. Like, this is a room and I feel supported. And if you get the opportunity, talk to an Indigenous person, sit down with them, invite them for coffee, and ask them their experience, because I'm only one person and my experience is different from everybody else's. So there's a lot of stories to be told. So I'm going to tell one. Ooh, that's very loud. Thank you. Okay. Bonjour, friends. Hi. Hi. You guys are so cute. And so special. So I'm reading this story, Phyllis's Orange Shirt. And it's a story that has been adapted from another book, The Orange Shirt Story. So the reason why we're reading this story is because it's geared towards a younger audience, to be able to bring forward, history in a way that's easy for them to understand. Some of the illustrations or the photos within this book have been changed from the original story, just to accommodate our little peoples.
Racism and misogyny, both past and present, must be rejected.
Okay. So little Phyllis lived with her granny on the Dog Creek Reserve. They would pick berries, garden, and catch fish to preserve. There were not many kids with whom Phyllis could play because they went to residential school far, far away. One day, Granny took Phyllis to town. It was exciting to see so many people around. Granny took Phyllis to a shop full of clothes, with hats for your head and socks for your toes. Phyllis picked out a shirt that was so orange, shiny, and bright, and Granny brought it for her to wear with delight. On the first day of residential school, Phyllis just couldn't wait. She wore her orange shirt so that she would look great. But when she arrived, her mood started to change. The place was so uncold, unfriendly, and strange. Her bright orange shirt was taken away, and she worried how long she would have to stay. At public school, she was taught how to read and write neatly by her teacher, who treated her very sweetly, so very sweetly. Phyllis liked her teacher, but missed her granny so bad, along with the garden and home she had had. And then when finally summer arrived, Phyllis returned to home where she thrived. We wear our orange shirts to remember that every child matters, and not just in September. We honor First Nations people and reflect on how every child is special and deserves our respect. Oh, that's it. Yeah, so that's it for the story, and I just want to take some time to acknowledge, the Indigenous staff who work very hard in this school to ensure that our students are represented and reflected in a good way. And I think about all my relations out there who, are on their own journey, and some still healing, some, being able to sing their songs and wear their clothes, but some are still struggling, so keep those ones in your hearts today. Oh, wait. I need to introduce Anita Tanasco, who is the Director of Indigenous Initiatives.
Kwei kakana, hello everyone. Mino kigije baugad, good morning. Miigwech to Sarah, thank you Sarah for the beautiful story and for sharing your truth today. The National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is extremely hard for many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. While we see a sea of orange t-shirts everywhere, and that is helpful, it is very difficult on us to reflect on the over 150,000 First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children that were taken from our communities and sent to over 140 residential schools in this country. And we reflect on the over 10,000 First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children that never made it home. And I'm honored to spend a day each year with my mother, who's a residential school, Jenny. She's also an Algonquin College graduate. She completed her early childhood education diploma here and also her child and youth worker diploma. She demonstrated that education is still here for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children, and that we're capable of educating our own children, and we're capable of influencing post-secondary education. And so Miigwech, Mom, thank you for being here. I want to say Miigwech, thank you to the Abenoji, the children, full ones, who are spending some time with us this morning. It's important to build those relationships and to have them learn about First Nations, Métis, and Inuit cultures. Miigwech, thank you. And for the educators and leaders in the room, I brought in a very special book. It's Who We Are, 4 Questions for a Life and a Nation by the Honorable Murray Sinclair. If you can get your hands on this book, please do. Please read it. He has a lot to offer this college, this city, this country, and the world. And I know there are a lot of allies here in front of me and in this college, and the Mayor of Ottawa. We're going to work together, and we're going to promote healing. It's possible. It's very possible. So as we end this event today, we have a ishkodet, we have a fire outside. And I believe Summer from the Mamadoswin Center is out there to welcome us all. If you would like to visit the fire, to reflect on this day, to connect with others, to strengthen relationships, and then that's what I suggest we do. And after that, I wish you all a very good day. Miigwech, thank you.